Warning, the Shekle Up Podcast is a podcast created by two ex-degenerates that think they know sports gambling and spent their younger days breaking bookies and never hedging. We are not experts on anything, and everything we say should be taken with a grain of salt. We do not condone illegal sports gambling, and all gambling should be done responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now enjoy.
Y'all know what that sound means. It is NFL Week 1. It seems like it was gone for so long, but it's back, and we're ready to roll. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Shekle Up Podcast, where we try to help you navigate the eternal abyss of the always stressful, mostly toxic, but very entertaining world of sports and, of course, the NFL. I am one of the hosts for this evening, Anthony. And with me, I have K-Mac.
Hello.
I also got the Bear, the Risley Bear.
Go Bears.
And, of course, Hunter Kuester.
Woo! Let's go. We're back.
All right, guys. Before we get into the heavy NFL talk here, let's talk about it. Because Florida State fucked me on Monday on my 25-leg parlay that I had going.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's
talk about DJU and how trash he is.
Let's
Here's
talk
what
about...
I gotta say. First and foremost, DJU peaked in high school. Let's start there. Let's start there with DJU peaking in high school. 5-star, goes to Clemson, supposed to be the next great thing. Trash. Next year, Oregon State. I wouldn't say trash, but definitely mid. And now this year, the chosen one, Florida State. Trash!
I don't know. You bitch, and you bitch, and you bitch, and then you bitch some more, and then you bitch a little bit more, and then you keep bitching about not being in the top 4 last year, and you come out your first 2 weeks of football, mad, pissed off you didn't make it in the top 4. God damn it. We deserve to be up there. And you shit the bed. And it wasn't like an accidental shit. It's like, you know what? I think this is a fart. I'm a 35-year-old man, and I'm just going to try to let one loose. And it ended up being nice, wet, and slippery. Now your mattress is a slip and slide of brown sewage. That is the Florida State the last 2 weeks. Okay? No, fuck them, because I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you got your asses beat. You got upset. There's no way that you're going to let a Boston College team come into your house and be upset at it again 2 weeks in a row. So you know what? I'm going to put my last game for Monday night on my 25-leg parlay. Hit 24 of the bets on my 25-leg parlay. And you let Boston College come in and prison gang rape you with no lubrication. And you went back for seconds. So yeah, fuck them. And I have nothing else to say about Boston College. Or not Boston College, but Florida State. I put down. I didn't lose a whole lot, but it was one of those things where it was a nice freaking payout. Like, I'm like, oh man, this is smooth sailing. Florida State. They're not gonna get. And it was a money line bet, and it wasn't even a point spread. It was a money line bet. So that's what makes it worse. All they had to do was fucking win. That's all you had to do.
All you gotta do, just win.
That one hurts.
Yeah.
They can't because it's Florida State. We already know.
Well, and that's fine because Florida State. I'm putting the money. If they're ever favored again, I'm putting the money line on the other team. That's it. That's all I'm doing. If they're favored, I'm gonna put it on the other team. Let's talk about the 2 other teams that, maybe 3 that we cared about. We'll talk about the independent school here last of the round table. But I'll start off with Ohio State first. They came out looking kind of shoddy. You guys thought that 49 or 48.5 was kind of a lot, and it was, but they almost hit that. As bad as it started off, they almost hit it, but they had to go and let Akron score a field goal there in the fourth quarter. And, that leads them not to cover. Had Akron not kicked that bullshit field goal, Ohio State actually covers. I think a lot of the slow start for Ohio State was the jitters, especially for that quarterback. He's coming over from Kansas State, coming to a way bigger school in Ohio State with way bigger, higher expectations. And I think he just had the jitters, but he got into a nice groove there at the end of the game, and so did Smith. Smith is going to be a baller. I think he had the first game jitters. You can tell with the penalties and stuff like that, the drops. So, I mean, if they can work out those jitters for the next game, they're going to be pretty formidable. I mean, they look pretty nice. That defense could use a little bit of work. But we'll see. I like Chip Kelly's play calling. I also had to take into consideration that Akron's head coach used to be, I think, the defensive coordinator for one of the Pac-12 teams that played against Chip Kelly a lot when he was in the Pac-12 with UCLA. So they were familiar with each other. So there's that too. And so in my opinion, it's not too bad. What do you guys think about the Ohio State game, Hunter?
Well, like I said, call me a biased Michigan fan all you wanted. I told you Ryan Day does not cover spreads, and he continues to prove me right on that one. As close as you
Hunter,
want to say
stop
that
it.
was.
Stop it, Hunter. Hunter, he almost covered a really high point spread.
I don't. So
stop
look
it.
at that. Almost.
Stop it.
What's almost matter? Almost only matters in horseshoes, baby.
No, because I
almost
totally
only matters in horseshoes.
I totally
Come
agree
on.
with you for the most part, because Ryan Day will not cover the point spread by 10 to 15 points on a normal basis. So
Exactly.
yeah,
But he still
right.
doesn't
This
cover
was
spreads. So what are you
Chip Kelly
open
will.
arms about?
Huh? If they don't get the
What are you
jitters,
open arms about?
I'm not open arms about. You're biased. You're biased about everything when it comes to Ohio State.
Okay.
What
He
jitters,
is.
What jitters are the Akron Sips usually presenting to teams?
Well, I'm not saying jitters. Jitters is different than cowardly nervousness. The jitters would be like, again, coming from Kansas State, going to a top Big Ten team that's ranked second in the country. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the expectations. Like, I'm sure like he's coming from a smaller school. So, and not that Kansas State is small by any means. They have a good fan base, but it's not Ohio State. It's not Michigan. It's not, Alabama. It's not Georgia or any programs like that. So I think that's a lot of it coming over from the transfer portal and all that stuff. So that would be my thing. And we probably won't see many point spreads that high. Ohio State had the highest point spread and still almost covered. But since Hunter is so biased, I don't want to hear him talk about Ohio State anymore. Kurt, what did you? Because you're not really a biased Michigan fan. You kind of speak the truth.
Can I at least give a thought
Nope.
about how I thought about the team?
Nope.
What?
Nope. You're
Terrible.
done. Nope. I'm cutting you
Awful.
off. You're gonna get muted.
Listen to you, dude.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Where's the salt shaker?
I would say I was a little bit surprised, but not surprised by the slow start. But with a lot of new starters coming in, especially with the quarterback and OC, you could definitely see how things need to transition. But to be honest, I really didn't watch that game. I watched the Florida-Miami game, which wasn't much of a game.
It was at first.
It weren't, yeah. But it was surprising to see how close that Akron-Ohio State game was at half. But then once they got rolling in the second half, it got out of hand real quick. And they did almost cover, but 50 is just, 49.5? 49.5 is just a bit too much, but 49.5. But you can kind of see it. They got into a groove second half for sure.
Mr. Independent, INDENT or whatever. What do you think?
Well, speaking for the team, that's the only one that actually played someone this weekend of note. It was a beautiful Saturday night game.
Sir, we are on the Ohio State. I will mute you.
Will admit, I will admit, I thought that Notre Dame's offense did come out with some opening jitters. But at the end of the game and the hot Texas night, it was the Notre Dame Fighting Irish wearing down the Texas A&M Aggies in front of 107,000 screaming drunk belligerents.
Anyway, so we muted that man, and because he can't stay on topic.
Here, okay, all right. You want me, all right? Here, I'll talk about Ohio State.
I got you.
Okay. I think Ohio State. Will Howard is definitely a great quarterback. I did pick up on a lot of the things that he did during the game. The game was difficult to watch after about the third quarter because the talent level was just so far it just it got to a point where it just kind of seemed like they were dragging the zips around by their zippers, I guess. So good win for Ohio State this weekend. We'll see what happens with them down the road. Got a couple tough games coming up here soon.
All right. Well, since you already started, it was. And I would like to say that I gave Notre Dame their props. I took Notre Dame outright. I said it was a good bet. You were a little hesitant because you were like Texas A&M plays Alabama tough, and you're like, I'm like, no, that line is telling me that Notre Dame is going to take this because that line is definitely in their favor. But no, it's all right. I get it. You had first game jitters, and that's okay.
We did, and but no, it was a good win. I thought Riley Leonard played really well. I don't think the passing game is there yet.
No,
but I don't think Notre Dame really came into that game with the full playbook. I think they came in with a very safe, easy game plan. They executed it to perfection, and they depended on their defense to win the game, and they did. So good victory to start out the year. Probably puts them on the road to the college football playoffs, and but you got to play 11 more games, so we'll see what happens.
Hunter, I'll bring you in on this one because you're not biased against Notre Dame. You'll give me your honest to God opinion, and it won't be anything swayed that way.
Thank you for that.
So you tell me, man. What did
I don't know if I would say all that, but
no, I think Notre Dame played a good game. I mean, I like it. We'll see against the more stout competition as the season continues, and but going into that Texas A&M stadium and actually getting that win is I'm not saying that's not a good win either. You know what I mean? But
one last point I'll make on this.
Sure, sir.
Because I want to kind of dig on Brian Kelly a little bit. Not because I have to, but because I want to.
Trash. USC proved it too.
I'll tell you what, the biggest difference in the game was Marcus Freeman. And the reason I say that, and a bunch of people brought this up on ESPN today and some other podcasts. Dude, when they're at the edge of that tunnel and you got 107,000 people screaming at your team and yelling all everything at them, dude, Marcus Freeman became that linebacker from Ohio State. I'm gonna give Ohio State props. He came up, he turned into that player that he was at Ohio State, and he got in all of his players' faces. He's yelling at him. He's saying, "You got this. We got this. Just do what you're supposed to do." They fed off that, man. So, which is completely different from the stone-faced Baton Rouge Bengal coach by the name of Brian Kelly, who once again, I guess the white light just got a little too bright there for old
3-6.
B-Rye.
3-6.
I know. But the light got a little too bright there for old BK there at the end of that LSU USC game, which was highly entertaining. But anytime watching Brian Kelly lose and then blame it on his players, that's just
music to my ears.
That was just icing on the cake. So, but yeah, no, good win this week.
All right. So there is one more team I want to touch on because I really enjoyed this game. I had my money on them too, and I love the shit out of their quarterback. Miami looked terrific against the Florida Gators, and I know the Florida Gators aren't all that this year, but my God, it's been so long since Miami's had a quarterback, and that Ward kid, he's going to be a hell of a quarterback. Yeah, he did terrific. I mean, the arm strength,
he looked amazing.
The decisions, the moving when he needed to move, the running, it all. I watched that game again. I only watched a little bit of Ohio State to see what the points were and if they were going to cover. I had no qualms about them actually winning the game. They're not fucking Florida State. They deserve to be in the top four.
Man.
But yeah, no, that Miami is going to be a tough. I think Miami is probably my sleeper team in the playoffs right now. The way that they looked, I mean, they look like they can beat some people. The defense looked tough. When their defensive end that they lost comes back, they're going to be nasty. So I think I don't know, Kurt. What do you think about the Miami Hurricanes?
It's nice to see the U back in action. It looks like they'll probably be a top dog in the ACC. Honestly, I mean, with Florida State burning out, and then Pitt's over there, which who's really in the ACC that's going to compete with them?
No, the way they were performing, no one. What are your thoughts on that, Hunter?
I think that Miami's incredible. I think that Clemson will be a good team. They played Georgia really well, but that was the only two teams that looked at anything remotely good from the ACC. But I like Cam Ward a lot. I thought that he put up really, really impressive numbers at Washington State last year. And this year, Miami, he started off with looking incredible, like 300 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Florida didn't even have a chance.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't. It looked kind of tough, but hey, good college football Saturday. But let's get into it, guys. So what we're going to talk about now is some futures here. All right, we're going to get into the futures first. I want to talk about what we're kind of looking like, and then of course we'll do our weekly picks like we always do. So let's start off with the conferences. The AFC, probably like usual, is the toughest conference as opposed to the NFC. I think there's more up-and-coming teams, and I think there's more shit teams in the NFC. And that's just kind of the way it is. Not much we can do about that. But let's talk about the AFC, because we have a couple of, AFC guys here. I don't remember what Hunter said his favorite team was going to be this year. He said last week, and I have no idea. Okay, it wasn't the AFC. Yeah, Jim. I thought it was. I'm like, maybe it was Jim Harbaugh. So yeah, he's going with the Jim Harbaugh effect out there. So he's not making the playoffs. There ain't no way. And not for sure. It's really hard. Maybe as a wild card. Maybe. But the AFC is just way too tough. But Kurt,
Okay.
that's your. I mean, before we get to the Fugazi random favorite NFL team picker, what do you think about the AFC this year?
AFC as a conference, man, it runs about 9 deep. It's gonna be a real fight in the playoffs. That is for sure. A lot of good quarterbacks there, some good defenses, some good running backs. It's gonna be It's gonna be anyone's pick. Anyone's pick.
Yeah. Well, you got a couple. Well, you got one guy coming back who's always in the playoffs, and Aaron Rodgers. We didn't have that last year because he came out and went out. Carrying the country in his arms was too much for him to handle. A couple plays later, he he decides that he's done.
He crumbles.
Yeah, he crumbles under pressure. That was my pick though last year. I said I think the Jets will probably go. And honestly, I don't see the Chiefs going to the AFC Championship this year. I just don't see it. I'm not trying to be a hater.
Yeah, you are.
Oh no, I'm not. I don't care.
But the haters gonna hate.
Listen.
Right.
Is that what we're gonna do every year? We're just gonna
there?
write Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship every year. I mean, it depends, right? Because what if there's a healthy Joe
Basically.
Burrow? What if Aaron Rodgers? I mean, Pat Mahomes hasn't seen Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs yet. And if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, I know he was hurt, but I don't think his talent's fallen off. I don't think he's going to be like Russell Wilson and how Russell Wilson was last year. Just fell off the face of the earth for no apparent reason.
I'll tell you this. I think the Chiefs, once again, will probably make the championship game, but I will be honest with you. For me right now, let's talk about the Ravens. Bro, their backfield is Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. They're going to be able to run the ball on anybody that they want.
Until January.
No one will be able to stop them. Derrick Henry is a machine. Lamar Jackson is MVP was coming off being an MVP. What, last season?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they added who they had in their wide receiver room. They added wasn't anybody huge, but it was.
Well, they got Zay Flowers like normal.
Right.
They got Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
They got I don't know who's on the other end of that, to be honest with you.
Telling you, man.
Well, here's the thing, and you're absolutely right, but it's kind of like the Aaron Rodgers effect in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers likes to choke come December, January. And that's been the kind of the story with the Ravens. They're really good all season until the playoffs hit.
What do you need to win in the playoffs? What is the most important feature of an offense to be able to win in December and January?
Offensive and defensive lines.
And what does that offensive line help do?
It just depends. I mean, yeah, for the most part.
The ball.
But they had the same running prowess last year. Where was it? What did they decide to do? How many times did we say it, Kurt?
What?
Well, last year we went to the thing. We went through the playoffs. The problem was that Lamar had to throw it too much. For some reason, they went away from their identity. So it's not any certain team that actually beats the Ravens. January beats the Ravens because for some reason they try to do what worked all season. They try to do different things. So it just depends on the coach. What do they want to do? If you have a certain identity for a reason, and you shouldn't leave that. I mean, if it got you 12 freaking wins in the regular season, why are you going away from that? I mean, they ground and pounded against the Niners, and it worked. And you hit playoffs, and you're playing Kansas City, and decide to air the ball out 50 times.
So you don't believe in John. It's not that you don't believe in the Ravens. It's that you don't believe in John Harbaugh.
I just don't believe in January they turn into somebody not themselves. They go from Baltimore Ravens to Baltimore Peacocks. It's been their story. Lamar's been there, almost 6-7 years now? They've been to the playoffs almost every year, and they can't seem to just jump over that hump.
Well, I know this. I know last year they came very close to beating the Chiefs and probably should have beaten the Chiefs. But to your point, yes, you're right. They screwed that up themselves. But I just think whenever you add Derrick Henry, it just adds a completely different dimension to your offense.
Yes and no, but we got to understand there's a reason why the Titans got rid of him, and he is getting old, and he has a lot of miles.
He is still more than serviceable.
I agree he can be, but the problem is with running backs, they don't go to a slow downhill like gradually. They fucking just fall off a cliff. Like they just come out one year and they're just no good all of a sudden.
I get it. Yeah.
And that's just the if. I mean, if he's the Derrick Henry of the last couple of years, absolutely. But I have to see it first. So I can't make that prediction based on like what he's got to be in the league 10 years now. At least
he's there. I know he's at least 30 years old.
Yeah, and you're asking a lot of guys. That's a lot out of a guy, and he's going to have Lamar to help, and that's what's really going to help him and that on that team. But I mean, to your point, Eric, the Ravens are actually second.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it, and they are. Let's see, they are plus 1,000, I believe, to win the Super Bowl.
But the AFC, they are a plus 550. Okay, and of course we already talked about it. Kansas City is plus 350. So I mean, they're always going to get the write-in vote there. Kind of like the Cowboys. Cowboys always get the write-in vote for the division and stuff like that. Then right underneath them is the Bengals at plus 750. The Houston Texans are fourth in the AFC.
That's dangerous.
At a plus 800. And then the New York Jets at plus 850. And the Buffalo Bills probably will be lucky if they win their division this year.
I don't see that happening.
No. I mean, the Buffalo Bills, though, are still plus 900 underneath the Jets. So I take that for what it's worth. But you have no receivers.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I can't back the Bills. I mean, Josh Allen's an incredible quarterback. I'm actually kind of wondering if they don't improve things. Is he going to be asking for a trade maybe next year or so?
Come to Philly, Josh. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, come to Philly. I would take Josh Allen over Jalen Hurts.
It's bold.
I would do that. Jalen Hurts is really good on the 1 yard line.
Well, I mean, he's still good. I mean, you still have a good quarterback.
Would he be good, though, with no receivers? He's good with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson, and Saquon Barkley. Would he be good with whatever Josh Allen has?
Well, I mean,
but who would be better, Jalen Hurts with what Jalen Hurts has, or Josh Allen with what Jalen Hurts has?
Well, I mean, would a bright summer day be the same if the sun didn't shine? You know, I mean that it's. I don't know.
Some days it'd be better here in
mean,
Northwest Ohio.
Well, that's true, but no, I mean, I think that's just what I mean. Like, yeah, we can look at that. Well, if he didn't have anybody, what's he going to look like? And yeah, all right, I get that, but we're at a point in the NFL where you have to have talent around your quarterback.
I agree.
You're not going to ever win anything anywhere. So maybe he just needs to keep all his talent. Tell your front office, just keep everybody all around.
Yeah, right.
Keep standing up, right?
So bold prediction, Eric. If you had to pick, you're going to go with the Baltimore Ravens, or are you sticking with the usual?
Like I said, I if you're a betting person and looking at I mean, plus I went to Vegas Insider and I kind of looked at some of these things.
Yeah,
they had the Ravens as plus 1,000 to win the Super Bowl. I mean, that could be a decent little payday for somebody. If I'm looking at this, I look at the Ravens. I say, like I said, and the point I just made to you, what do you need to win in the playoffs? You need the ability to run the football. And if you got Derrick Henry in the backfield and it's mid-December, and you have him plus Lamar Jackson that are just able to kill defenses with RPOs and just direct handoffs or play actions, I'm telling you, man, it's just I don't know that defenses in the AFC are going to be able to handle that, and I think that's why the Ravens are gonna go to the Super Bowl and possibly win it.
All right, Kurt, are your brothers over there in the AFC North going to be? You agree with Eric there, or what would you say that your AFC pick would be?
This is going to be very cliche, but it's the Chiefs Invitational. When you have the best quarterback, he's going to be there regardless. They'll still have a solid defense, though they lost L'Jarius Sneed, but they added weapons. Xavier Worthy. Kelsey's getting a little bit older, but Rashee Rice will be back. I don't know how he's not suspended. And then you add Marquise Brown. I mean, they're going to win that division. There's no question there. I have a hard time finding a team that beats them right now because the Ravens will be good with Derrick Henry, though they lost a lot on the defensive side of the ball. They lost a couple of starters. Patrick Queen left. They lost their defensive coordinator. Mike McDonald went to the Chargers. They lost a lot of defensive coaches off the field. And I know they'll still have a solid defense, but that defense last year was legit.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Underrated, in my opinion.
It'll still be really good, but not as good as that. And that was their chance, and they blew it to me. And then I look at another team like the Bengals. They'll have the offense, but I don't see the defense.
True. And you know what? That used to be where they actually were pretty good. They had a good defense for a long time. So, now it's kind of flipped the other way. They spent a lot on offense. They got Joe Burrow some tackles. Finally, we've only been screaming it for 6 years to get that man. I know he hasn't been in the league for 6 years, but you guys know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Been screaming forever that you're sitting there getting fucking running backs and 15 receivers for no fucking reason. And then you go, and Joe Burrow's been hurt like half of his career with you, and you're not getting him any help on the offensive line, which is just crazy. And you know what? I don't know if you remember, Kurt, but I called for Penny Sewell. Like, he's a beast in Detroit, and I called for Penny Sewell over Jamar Chase. And I bet you the Bengals may have won that Super Bowl had they had Penny Sewell, somebody to protect Joey B. But, what do I know? I just, hey, listen, it was almost like the Steelers for a while. The Steelers kept drafting running backs, and I'm like, dude, go offensive line. Big Ben's running all over the place. And they go and they keep getting running back after running back, and it's like, if you got no fucking offensive line, why are you drafting running backs?
Yeah.
But I never understood it. And that's not me taking shots at you. That's just kind of how I saw the Steelers there. Hunter, are you writing in Patrick Mahomes as well for the AFC Championship, or are you thinking outside the box, something creative? I mean,
no, I think the I think the NFC is where I would take some creative shots, but my AFC champion is for sure the Chiefs. I like them to at least make the championship game again. Mahomes is just too good. Maybe they slip up in the championship game. Maybe they don't make the Super Bowl. But I would definitely pick the Chiefs as one of my AFC championship teams.
All right. Well, speaking of the NFC Championship, where we're going to take Flyers, of course, the goddamn love for the San Francisco 49ers just keeps happening, even though their offensive line is kind of on the fritz. But, plus 260 to win the NFC. I don't think so, man. I know they say Super Bowl hangover for the team that wins the Super Bowl, but if you look at the teams that lose the Super Bowl, their hangover is way, way, way worse statistically than any other team. If you look at the last few years, the Bengals losing to the Rams fell off the face of the earth the following season. You know what I'm saying? And then the Eagles losing to Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, they started off 10-1, but fell off the face of the earth towards the end of the season. Now the San Francisco 49ers go and get beat by the Chiefs. You're going to tell me there's not going to be a lull? They're just going to come back and go right to the NFC title game? I don't think so. Not in my opinion. And I'm not trying to hate. I'm just looking at it statistically. If you look at the loser of the Super Bowl, they have a worse hangover than any of the winners do. And you can go and stat check me or whatever, fact check me. But right underneath them is plus 500. The Lions. The Lions are plus 500. Second in the NFC ranked right now in betting, and Lions fans should be really happy about that.
First time for that.
Yeah. I don't know.
When's the last time you saw the Detroit Lions as plus 500 to win the whole thing?
But
to win the NFC at least.
The NFC is honestly bad. Like they're not very good. If you think about this for a second, Carolina Panthers, bad. New York Giants, bad.
Oh, wait, hold on. We can't be starting off with Carolina Panthers.
No, but these are bad.
We got to start off at the top.
Well, even if I go to the top, okay, so it's Niners, Eagles, Lions, Green Bay, Dallas, and then Atlanta. Atlanta is over the Los Angeles Rams right now, 1,200 over 1,500. Then it goes to Bears. No offense, Eric, not good. Seattle Seahawks, mediocre. Tampa Bay, very mediocre. Cardinals, they could be almost bad, but then you got the New Orleans Saints, bad. Vikings are going to be bad because no quarterback. And then Washington, and then New York and Carolina. There's just no teams that you go over to the AFC and you're like, if you go over tit for tat, if you go to the last team in the AFC and the last team in the NFC, they would wax the Panthers. And you keep going up that ladder from low to high, most teams would wax the team right across from them that's ranked in the NFC. It's just not a hard conference to go through right now, in my opinion. And it's like, you got the Packers, who had a little bit of a sprint there in the playoffs, lost to a very good Lions team, who should have won and went to the Super Bowl against the Niners. But the script is written, so we don't know. But I think it's going to be. I think we potentially may be looking at an NFC Championship game between the Eagles and Lions.
Wow, I don't want to be the Bears fan in the room, but I got to be the Bears fan in the room.
That's fine.
I think the 49ers are going to win it again. And I'll tell you why. It's exactly for what you just said. The 49ers right now on their current roster have George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams got re-signed.
Brandon Ayuk. Listen,
hold
on. No, I got to stop you with the Brandon Ayuk. No, because
some
douchebag online got into it with me over fucking Brandon Ayuk, trying to tell me that he's worth $35 million because his statistics were better than Justin Jefferson's. I said, are you kidding me? Do you not use your eyes?
I'm not saying he's better than Justin Jefferson.
No, he's just as good, if not better.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that.
Go, no. So when you say Brandon Ayuk, I blanch at that because I spent 2 days arguing with this guy.
He's just one piece to the puzzle.
I hear you.
Brandon
Ayuk.
Can you tell me another NFC? We'll get to the NFC versus AFC in a second, but just tell me another NFC roster that really compares or has the experience level of the 49ers.
I can.
They've been to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You got stars all around.
Yeah.
It's a well-run franchise. They have major fan support. They're tough to play at home. What else do you want? That's exactly what you need. They're going to be one of the best defenses in the NFL. You have one of the top offenses in the NFL. Like I said, you have stability at the coaching position. You have had for a while. your organization that knows exactly what they want to do and how they want to accomplish it, and they do, and that's why San Francisco has been so successful. I'm jealous of the 49ers. I wish the Bears. I mean, it's getting better obviously now, but I mean, this is the type of organization that you want to see your franchise become. And I just think unless you're going to tell me that maybe the Lions, they could give them a shot. I mean, the Lions certainly have very good, but I have questions about Jared Goff coming back as strong as he has been. But we'll see. But for right now, I think the 49ers, they got it.
That's fine. You asked me the question, like, who can go tit for tat with how many stars they got on their team. And I hate to be the Eagles fan in the room, but let me be the Eagles fan in the room and go A.J. Brown or Brandon Ayuk.
A.J. Brown.
Okay, so that's one there. Deebo Samuel, Devontae Smith.
Deebo
can't go deep.
Deebo doesn't have to. Deebo can.
Neither does Devontae.
And can catch the pass.
Neither does Devontae.
Devontae's not a two-way player, though, like Deebo is.
Oh, yes, he is. Did you watch that Alabama national championship game?
Yeah, but that's college. We're talking about the pros.
Right,
the pros, they use Deebo Samuels like not only as a running back, but also as a wide receiver, and he's very good at both positions.
Right, because he's incapable of going deep.
You don't need to if that's his game. That the deep game isn't everybody's forte. His forte is jet sweeps, maybe a handoff once in a while, and just curls and
we can disagree on that. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. We can disagree on that because I think again, and I've said this before to you guys, like the Hunter and Kurt, Devontae Smith is not used to his fullest potential, and that's on coaching. You had two bum ass offensive coaches last year, Nick Sirianni calling plays and that Brian Johnson dude calling plays, who would throw screens to the fucking fourth receiver for some unguy. You had they threw a screen to the fourth receiver and had Devontae Smith blocking.
Yeah,
that's the kind of play calling that the Eagles had last year. So you know what I'm saying? That I think he's under. I think you'll see more of that along with Saquon Barkley. I think obviously McCaffrey over Saquon. You know, obviously when it comes to that, but at the same time, it's not way over Saquon. You know, if Saquon can actually stay healthy and actually play to his fullest potential, I think it's pretty close, depending on how they use it. And Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy, if you think about those two, I'm just saying they can compete with, what do you call it, with the San Francisco 49ers. And honestly, I'm taking Dallas Goedert over George Kittle. George Kittle is getting old. Just if you looked at the playoff game and stuff, he was looking really, really slow. He's still one hell of a blocker, though, but then so is Dallas Goedert. I think Dallas Goedert is better in the receiving game right now, better than Kittle. I think Kittle has had a better career, but right now, if they use George Kittle more for blocking and really short passes, and they'll send Dallas Goedert down the field. You'll see that from George Kittle every so often, but you won't see it as much as you'll see it with Dallas Goedert. That's my only thing. So I'm just saying Dallas Goedert slight edge over Kittle, and that's just because Kittle's a little bit older.
Like I said, you said, you're the Eagles fan in the room, and I respect your opinion.
Yeah,
I respect your, but George Kittle is a little bit better than Dallas Goedert right now.
Yeah, I mean their stats are pretty. Hunter, look those up real quick because I'm pretty sure their stats last year were pretty comparable.
I'm not gonna be the fantasy geek. But were the majority of people picking George Kittle first as a tight end, or were they picking Dallas Goedert as a tight end?
Honestly, I think it's about
more
the same.
valuable.
No, I think it's about the same because we talked about it on the fantasy podcast. There's only like 3 or 4 good tight ends. Other than that, you're just kind of like for sure scoring 10 points a game. Tight ends in this every game would be the Lions tight end and the Bills tight end because they're gonna get some work, and then Travis Kelce.
Well, Cole Kmet's the best tight end in the league anyway. So
who I picked up, by the way.
No, I do too.
Did you?
I went Bears heavy this year on fantasy.
But even with the Lions in the NFC, I like the Lions, but outside of their tight end and Amon St. Brown, it's kind of hard to see who else. I mean, Gibbs is going to be more involved into the offense, I believe. And then who's the other guy? Montgomery?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty good, but that's going to be they're going to be sharing still.
Yeah.
Sharing snaps. So as opposed to that, to your point there, I don't know if the Lions can keep up with either team in the playoffs when they got to go through both of them. in my opinion. And then, of course, Dallas is always a damn wild card. You never know what they're going to do because they're such a good regular season team. And then they just, again, like the Baltimore Ravens, they get to the playoffs and poop the bed. Kurt, what do you think about the NFC, man? You just heard me and me and Eric kind of go back and forth with it. And I get it. I'm not saying the San Francisco 49ers can't win.
I get what you're saying.
Had they not gone to the Super Bowl, say the Lions did, I would pick the Niners probably to go to the Super Bowl this year. Just because they're just right at that peak. But because they already went and they lost, I'm going specifically off of ebb and flow of how things go. And ebb and flow tells me that the Super Bowl loser doesn't go back to the conference game.
I know what you're saying, and yes, I agree with you on the history and dynamic of it. Teams who make the Super Bowl and lose usually don't do anything the very next year. You are absolutely correct in that. I just feel like the difference is San Francisco just brought back so many people, and they just had the same team. And as long as they are still playing at the level they were playing at last year, it's hard.
I'm also going to tell
hard to pick against them.
I'm also going to tell Eric that he's a little bit biased and won't pick the Lions because he's a Bear fan.
No, I picked the Lions to win the division. I have picked the Lions to win the division. They're the favorite to win the division. I'm going to go with them to make it. They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. The Lions are a very, very good team who came from out of nowhere. I want to see if they can sustain success because that's not something historically they've been good at. And I realize that's the pot calling the kettle steaming, but it's just I think that the Lions are definitely going to win the division. I will give Lions fans that.
Gotcha. Kurt, NFC, what do you think, baby? Tell me what you got. Good.
All right, after that whole whatever that was.
It's called banter, sir. That is called good conversation,
Healthy
good battling.
banter.
I'm all in with it. But this, unfortunately, again, cliche, but this will be the third matchup in 5 years of Kansas City and San Fran, in my opinion. Though I like Philadelphia and San Fran to match up offensively, piece for piece.
It's the defense.
To me, it's the defense. They get Hufanga back, who was a really good safety. He tore an ACL last year. They still got Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Travarius Ward's an underrated corner. They didn't really lose anybody. But Kyle Shanahan will find a way to choke, though.
Yeah.
That's what he does. So, maybe if they get into a real dicey game in the championship with the Philly or Detroit, I could see them losing. But as of right now, it's hard not to pick them just based off of paper matchups. And, maybe something crazy will happen and they don't get in to the playoffs, but it's hard not seeing that happen just considering they'll probably win their division.
Yeah, because NFC West is not good. I mean, I look out for Stafford and the Rams, but I'm still kind of iffy on them. I mean, their defense is not good. Aaron Donald or no Aaron Donald, the rest of it's not good over there in the on the Rams.
Got some ballers on offense.
They do, but not to take out the Niners though.
No, I mean not to take out the Niners, but I mean they got a got a team.
They had a hard enough time with the Seahawks, and Seahawks really don't have anybody. You got an old DK Metcalf and an old Geno Smith.
Woo. Yeah, someone has to win the division.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like someone's got to win
well,
it.
It was like,
probably be the Rams.
But that comment would be like if I said the Patriots weren't good because they played a shitty Bills and Miami team when they were all crappy when, the Patriots kept winning their division year after year.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think about Kyler Murray making – I mean, he could make the Cardinals he could sneak him in.
Kyler Murray probably has spent the whole offseason playing college football 25, so no.
You think he's done?
I think he just doesn't focus on football.
You're saying he's a bum?
I'm not saying he's a bum. He's a better athlete than I am.
I mean, say what you got to say, brother.
He's a bum.
He's a bum. Okay, then just say he's a bum.
Is he a bum?
All right.
Is he a bum, Hunter? Is Kyler Murray a bum?
Man, he's under. He himself is underutilized his talent, but I don't know if that makes him a bum just yet.
And
I
what do you think
that
about the
another-
NFC though? After you get done making your point, I'm
Ano-
sorry, I thought you were done.
another bad season. I think he might be trending towards a bum. But for right now, I'll just call him. He's shooting himself in the foot. Get off of Call of Duty. But NFC wise, I like Detroit. I really want to see that team get over the hump. And that's who I'll be rooting for in the NFC. I definitely think that the Niners will be their matchup once again. And I kind of like Kurt said, I like how the Niners and Philly match up. But then when I look at that defense, I think the Niners are just a little bit better.
And let me
And that's
remind
what will get them
everybody,
into the championship game.
and you too, Hunter, just a little bit with the Philly defense. The only problem with them is the linebackers. I mean, they went and got Bryce Hall for their defensive line. Don't forget, they still got Jalen Carter, who's a beast. They got Jordan Davis. They still got your boy from Michigan. You know what I'm saying? And then their corners, Isaiah Rodgers wasn't a slouch before he got suspended. Isaiah Rodgers was pretty good. They beefed up their safeties with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He's back. When Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and the white kid, me and Owen call him the White Mamba, when they played together, he had probably like 3 or 4 interceptions, and Chauncey Gardner probably had like 4 or 5 before he had gotten hurt. And then, yep, Darius Slay. They still got Slay. I know he's getting older, but he's still really good for the most part. And then they picked up a couple, Quinyon Mitchell and a couple of other kids for backing them up. So I think Isaiah Rodgers is going to need to show some people that he can still play a little bit just because he's been gone for so long. But he wasn't a slouch when he played with Indianapolis.
I don't think, for me, it's not that Philly lacks the talent. I just need to see it produce.
Of course.
I know
Of
they have
course.
talent. I mean, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, that's no joke. And then I can't think of the white kid they drafted from Iowa, who was a safety / corner.
Cooper, Dijon.
Having him was a steal. Quinyon Mitchell was a steal. But you just have to give it time.
Yeah, and don't forget those Georgia linebackers that they drafted a couple years ago, N'Kobe Dean and
Yeah.
all
He's a
that
good
stuff.
player. I like
Yeah.
And
him.
Nick Fangio is an underrated DC. He was actually pretty good with the Broncos. So for me, it's not that Philly can't get there. It's that right now, it's
Let me see it.
unproven.
And that's the thing. And with the coaches, too, it's going to be real cool to see. But I just wanted to throw that birdie in your ears. Like, they do got some players over there on that defense. It's just, like you said, it's what do we know? You know what I'm saying? All right. So you said it earlier that you think the Lions are going to win the division there, Eric.
Yes, I think the Lions. I love the way the Lions play football. Once again, I hate to say this as a Bear fan, and the Bears will probably split their series as they historically do with the Lions. However, the Lions are a completely different team than the one we're used to seeing in the past. I mean, this is a team that plays with a lot of passion. They play with aggression. They make plays when they have to. They move the ball when they have to. Like I said, my biggest question is Jared Goff. I want to know, is he going to be able to repeat that performance? Because there were some games last year where, he was being the man of he was the world beater.
I think he's somewhere that loves him now. I think that's affected his performance.
Yeah.
I think we saw what I don't even think we've seen the ceiling of Jared Goff yet. I think we'll see that this year.
I do too. I think, and like I said, just for all the reasons, just because I want to see now that he has to play the NFC twice a year. Because he's been on the Lions for 3 years now? Isn't that it?
No, this will be his 3rd year.
So this is his 3rd year playing in the NFC. I mean, I was going to say nobody's had tape on him, but that's apparently false. But I will say I think the Lions being able to do as well as they did last year is really going to depend on Jared Goff and how he maximizes the playmakers around him. But if he comes out and he struggles and, he's not seeing – he's getting caught up in, zones and zone blitzes, maybe that smells trouble. But I'm going to rock with the Lions for right now, winning the division.
Okay.
And the Bears making the playoffs.
All right.
The Bears will finish 2nd.
Kurt, Got to talk about it, man. I'm not gonna pay attention to what he said. I'm just gonna roll over.
What?
Well, you got three pretty beastly teams in your division that could possibly win the division there between the Ravens, Browns, and Bengals. Sorry, I don't see the Steelers creeping up. I'm not even going to say that they're going to. I mean, the Browns, depending on how Deshaun Watson actually performs, and let's think that this is his actual full first start to finish, like going through training camp, not injured, kind of going with the Browns team, having some new receivers out there to throw to other than just Amari Cooper. You got a new emerging running back and Ford. Maybe Chubb returning. Who wins that division out there, man?
All right, well, we'll just start off right with the top. And this is probably going to surprise you guys, but I have something happening for the first time in like 20 years, and we will have a repeat champion. I have the Ravens winning the AFC North. They are right now the most balanced team. When I look at both sides of the ball, I am massively scared of the Derrick Henry edition. That is going to create problems where you almost have to pick your poison. You know, do you stack the box and Lamar has a deep arm and Zay Flowers, year 2, he's a big deep threat for them, though he's a little bit shorter, but he's real fast. So, and then Mark Andrews hopefully is healthy this year. And they'll still have a solid defense. And then when they get to the red zone, good luck. You know, good luck. And they're not going to run. The biggest thing is they're not going to run Derrick Henry to the ground 30 touches. The Ravens run a backfield committee. They'll effectively use him, and that'll be a problem. So that's why I have them finishing first.
Well, you're not wrong at a plus 145. That they got the lead. And I'm surprised that's not more or less closer to negative money. I think that I guess the Bengals must really offer up some competition because the Bengals are right behind them. And I mean right behind them in the betting odds at plus 165. And then it drops down to Cleveland Browns at plus 450. And the Steelers have a whopping, guys, if you're really a hardcore Steelers fan, you really believe in them, go ahead and drop a couple shekels on the plus 750 for the Steelers to win their division. That's not happening. I think the value pick might be the Cleveland Browns just in case, because you never know. Like, I'm just saying, like, if you put like $10 on them, you're going to win $45. So, you know, you lose $10, and if something happens and Lamar gets hurt and Joe Burrow gets hurt, like, you know, he sometimes occasionally does, Browns could sneak in there with better talent. It's not like they got a bum for a quarterback. Deshaun Watson's a capable quarterback if he's got his head in the game and not in a towel with masseuses. Yeah. So just to kind of throw it out there, Eric, you said the Lions are plus 125, and then right underneath them is the Packers at 210. But hey, the Bears have a better chance to win their division than the Steelers do at a plus 340.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with 340.
Minnesota has no shot. They must really not
I
believe.
looked at that. I felt so bad for them.
At plus 850. Oh, man, there's some worse odds. I mean, you were talking about, you think Arizona, Kyler Murray can kind of do there? Plus 1,300 for Kyler Murray.
Ooh.
So, yeah, San Francisco is a minus 190 to win that division. And I'm surprised they're not giving L.A. and Stafford a little bit of wiggle room there and maybe saying, like, you know, with Puka Nacua coming out and having Cooper Kupp back for a full season, they're a plus 330.
Surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I know the San Francisco 49ers. They're the San Francisco 49ers minus 190. But, you know, we're only, 3 years removed from the Rams winning a Super Bowl?
2021.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possible. It's not like they fell off the face of the earth. I mean, their defense is a little shoddy like we talked about. But, you know, I guess I don't know anything here.
That's still one of the most asterisk-filled Super Bowl wins ever.
You know, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against the Lions in the playoffs, you would think that they have the highest odds. No. It's the Atlanta Falcons, and it's not even plus money. It's minus 145 for the Falcons to win their division. They must really believe in Michael Penix.
I don't think they believe in anyone that's in that division. I mean, let's see. Wait, you got the Saints, you got the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Buccaneers. The Saints, Derek Carr. I mean, maybe Rashid. What's his name? Rashid. Shaheed. maybe he turns into a deep threat. But I mean, really, I just don't see much coming from that division. I really don't.
Listen, I don't. I really agree with you. There's not much coming from that division. There hasn't been in years. Yeah.
I don't want to just down talk a team to down talk them, but it's just like Carolina has nothing. I mean, they screwed their franchise quarterback over worse than the Bears screwed Justin Fields over. Like I said, the Saints with Derek Carr, that doesn't scare me. Even Atlanta, what do you got? Kyle Pitts over there now, and I know they kind of transformed over the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think they got the running back from Texas.
That doesn't scare me.
Bijan. They got Bijan. I mean,
Yeah.
it should. He's gonna. I mean, he was a hell of a running back last year. Now he's got a quarterback that can at least throw it to the receivers out there. Yeah. So I mean, I see why the Falcons. I think Falcons are going to be better than what a lot of people anticipate. I'm not worried about them if you got to play them in the playoffs or anything like that. But I wouldn't necessarily sleep on the Falcons. Like, if your team's playing Atlanta, don't think it's going to be just a walk-in game, and you're just going to walk out with the dub. They're not the Denver Broncos, who are a minus 2,000 to win their division.
Yeah, they're still in rebuild mode.
But Hunter, why don't you look at that, Hunter? Because your Chargers that you're rooting for this year are a plus 390, second to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Nice. I don't know if they got a chance year one, but that's not too bad.
They still got good players. Like, we're looking at the Chargers as if they stink, and they don't really stink.
But no, but I think there's a difference between stinking and competing with the Chiefs to win the division. And I don't know if they can do that in Harbaugh's first year. I think he needs a little bit of time to build that team out.
Yeah. See, I know. But don't forget, that division is always a gauntlet. Like, the Chiefs lose to the Las Vegas Raiders from time to time. Like, they always give them a run for their money. So there's always a little something that's going on with them. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. We're going to move down to my division. And the Philadelphia Eagles are favored at a minus 140 to win the division. What's wrong with that? You don't believe in that?
It should be lower.
Then minus 140?
Like, it should be more favors, what I mean.
Oh, well, you got to think of the Cowboys love. The Cowboys love, they're a plus 175. I know I called the Eagles last year to win the division. I thought, again, I wasn't trying to, and this is what happens with the loser in the Super Bowl hangover. I think the Dallas Cowboys, again, and there hasn't been a repeat team in our division that's won the division at all. So if you're going by trends and how the ebb and flow of the seasons go, Philadelphia Eagles will be your division NFC East champions. Not the Commanders at a plus 1,100, and definitely not the Giants at a plus 1,600. It's going to be between the Eagles and the Cowboys, but I don't think the Cowboys did enough. They have enough, but I don't think they did enough to surpass the Eagles in this offseason. What do you think, Kurt?
It's between the Eagles and the Eagles. Dallas isn't making the playoffs. I still think they'll have a good defense, but their offense is going to be absolutely atrocious. I know CD and Dak balled out. Antonio Ferguson's he's an up-and-coming tight end, but there's no running game. Their offensive line got worse. And are they really going to win 12 games again for the third or fourth straight year? Not happening. And after that playoff loss, it's downhill from here, and their schedule is no joke.
Yeah, you got beat by a coming off the bench from last season, Jordan Love, in the playoffs. Like, he was riding a bench a year before that, and he comes in, does okay, gets hot at the end, and just goes into your own house and just kind of throttles you. Man, that was lovely to see. And again, it's like one of them things that January beats Dallas as opposed to Dallas actually winning some games. Hunter, what do you think about your second favorite team in the NFL? Do you think they're gonna, how the Cowboys gonna take it, or what's going on? What do you think about your Dallas Cowboys? Because I really don't think that the the Dallas Cowboys did enough this offseason.
No, that's about all I can say about them. Is I think they're gonna get lost with the times. I think that they didn't update the team enough. They brought back washed up running backs and didn't really get better in it anywhere that they needed to. So I don't really give them much of a chance, especially with teams like the Commanders starting to finally improve. The Giants are still a dumpster fire, but I don't know. Dallas had their window, and I think it's quickly closing on them now.
Well, let's bring the man in that has so many opinions about these NFC teams. I'm sure that he's on the bandwagon for the Niners. I'm sure he's on the bandwagon for the Cowboys. Eric, what do you think about the NFC East? I mean,
I'm sorry. Did I miss something? I had some technical difficulties. Did I miss something? I'm a Cowboy fan now.
No. You just
is that what
you
I
hate,
am? I'm
just
a
sounded like
Cowboy fan?
no. You're just
Wait
a bandwagoner jumping on the San Francisco bandwagon.
Well, because it's hard not to.
Well,
Look at what they have. It's a really nice bandwagon they got. It's not even a bandwagon. It's a limousine that they're pulling up in. You get in, you've got snacks and drinks, and it's all free. And it's like, oh, there's supermodels that are in this limousine. Oh, this is excellent. My God. Like, how could you not be attracted to that sort of a bandwagon? But anyway,
it's the gold for me. I can't do the ugly brownish gold. That's my problem with them. No, but I'll bet back to the Cowboys. I mean, well, they got some nice pieces. CD Lamb, he just got paid some nice bucks. They got Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons.
I would pick the Cowboys, but they're the Cowboys. They're the Cowboys. And the reason that they will not win anything again this year is the same reason they have not won anything since the early 90s. Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones runs that team, and while he will spend the money to put a good team out there, Jerry Jones is not a head coach. And I feel like he sometimes tries to be a head coach.
Yeah.
How old is Jerry Jones?
I don't know, like Freddie Krueger kind of thing.
I mean, he's got to be pushing at least in his 80s.
No, he's
right?
got to. He's already in his 80s. He's got to be pushing 90s at least. He was old in the 70s.
I remember a Simpsons episode where like Mr. Burns is like at the start of the episode, and they bring him out of like the cryostasis straight. Yeah, God bless.
I know what you're saying.
They're bringing him out of cryo freeze. And that's just how he has to live, and I think the same thing about Jerry Jones, but this man is a GM, he's an owner, he's the front office, and upon occasion, he's the head coach. I don't trust an 85-year-old man, dude. I didn't trust him to be president, and I ain't gonna trust him to run the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I mean? Like, this is
bringing the millennials, guys. Bringing the millennials.
Well, I'm just saying. I fully expect the Eagles to win this division because they have a better team, and the Dallas Cowboys will once again go into probably go to the playoffs, and they'll probably head in with a bunch of steam. But at the end of the day, they're going to fall flat because they're the Cowboys.
I think,
as always,
the Cowboys. I don't think they are either. To be honest with you, I think
they're good enough to make the playoffs. I do think they're good enough to make a wild card in the playoffs just based on their offensive talent. And if you match them up with, like you said before, most of the teams in the NFC, I think they have better talent, and they have a good defense. They're still going to be one of the best defenses.
It's 3 wild cards now, right?
It is.
They might make the lowest wild card, maybe, but I really think that the Rams get one. And I honestly think there could be a possibility where 3 teams go to the playoffs from the NFC West. You know what I'm saying?
I know. And you know what happens when the Cowboys run into the Bears in Chicago?
Micah Parsons is going to paint Caleb Williams' toenails.
Micah Parsons is going to wish he had accepted that trade, come to the Bears. What he's going to wish. But anyway, no, I think the Eagles win the division Jalen Hurts, I really like him as a quarterback. Devontae, why can't I? Not Devontae Adams. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, two excellent receivers. They have a lot of talent on that offense, and this is an offense-driven league. And if you're very talented on offense, you can make the playoffs and you can win your division. So I'm going with the Eagles.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome.
Houston Texans plus 100 in their division. Take it, book it. Johnny Sunshine out there in Jacksonville has not really lived up to his hype. Colts, we don't know. I think if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy, they got a shot. So I wouldn't count them out. Tennessee Titans, I think they just need a little bit more before they start competing in that division. Well, I like Will Levis. I like that they got the receivers. I like that they got Tony Pollard. I think they need to do a little bit more on that defense, and they just need a few more things on that offensive line before the Tennessee Titans start competing for that division. Right now, nobody expected the Houston Texans to come out of nowhere like they did last year, and they did, and they added some nice pieces to their little club out there, and not Deshaun Watson, CJ Stroud's got some good weapons out there now. All right, the return of Aaron Rodgers, we touched on it. I'm probably gonna take the Jets in this division. I think the Bills are ranked second at a plus 195. New York Jets are a plus 160. Miami's a plus 210, and then the New England Patriots plus 2,600.
Yo,
Jesus.
When's the last time you? No, like, jeez.
Bill's out of there. He don't care anymore. But I think it's going to be between the Jets and the Dolphins. The Bills are going to be up there. I just don't think they got enough firepower. There's nobody to throw the ball to out there, and you can only throw the ball to the tight end so much. I mean, their running back is even mediocre. What do you think?
All right. So for the AFC East champions, your boy has. Oh man, what did we call him last year? We had a nickname for Josh Allen. Joe Allen.
Joe
Allen. Yeah.
Jack Allen.
Yeah.
Jack Allen and Joe. Yeah. I think he turned into Jack Allen towards the end of the season because he kept bombing.
I know. I understand. The cases for the other team. The other teams, but for me, I still think Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the AFC East right now. Just speaking right now. That's not to say that can't change. And I still like Sean McDermott as the best head coach in this division. More of a defensive type of guy. And they still, gave the Chiefs a heck of a game last year in the playoffs, though they lose Diggs, which that's big. But if you really think about it, they didn't even utilize Diggs on the second half of the season last year. They became more of a run-dominant type of team with James Cook.
But they could still stretch the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, if I had to say a second, though, I'd probably say the Jets over Miami. I think Miami's a finesse team. They're not about it in the trenches. And honestly, they look pretty soft in that Chiefs game when they're out in the cold. So give me Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't disagree there. Hunter, you got anything to add to that one?
I like Buffalo, too. Miami's scared of the cold. Patriots are done.
I've gun to my head. I probably say the Jets, depending on how Aaron Rodgers looks. I will take the favorite there. Miami too
Can't
is
take
just
the old man. The can't go to the nursing home either.
yeah,
Definitely
but
don't want to go there.
I mean, he still has an arm and he can still throw it. I mean, he's still Aaron Rodgers. I mean, people said the same thing about Tom Brady every year, and what did Tom Brady keep doing?
Well, Tom Brady's the GOAT. And
I know, but Aaron Rodgers' stats and all that, I still have to give him. Aaron Rodgers is still a great regular season quarterback. Playoffs, absolutely. He heads to the nursing home in the playoffs, but regular season wise, I mean, he can still win this division. He's still a great regular season quarterback. Time will tell if that still works over to the Jets, but I mean, he didn't have shit out in Green Bay, and now he has a defense. I mean, so without any receiver, I mean, he's got a couple receivers there in with the Jets, and then he's got a nice ass running back out there in Breece Hall. But that defense is what's. I mean, look how many games they kept him in just by that defense alone. Now Aaron Rodgers come back, he ain't gonna have to do shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to add to that real quick. I know we don't like to look at schedules, but when you look at the Jets schedule, there's a lot of games where you'd probably say, oh, they'll probably win that game because due to the fact they got either third or fourth in their division, they play a weaker schedule. So, I mean, Rodgers, Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams from the Chargers, plus Sauce Gardner, that defense, is pretty freaking legit, man. Quentin Williams, no joke. C.J. Mosley. That's why I said I probably would say the Jets and Bills will probably get in the AFC playoffs.
Got anything for that, Eric? Or you agree on all that?
No, I don't agree on any of that.
Oh, the Patriots are going to win this division?
Yeah, that's exactly who I'm with. Who is it with? Yeah, with that outstanding quarterback and all those pieces they have.
Hear me out.
It's going to be great.
Drake May has one of the lowest floors to be the best quarterback out of this draft, but he has one of the highest ceilings to be one of the best quarterback come out of this draft. Do not sleep on Drake May. I've been saying it since the draft. The boy can sling it. He can chuck it. He can move. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that he's going to come out and be better than Caleb Williams or anybody now. I'm just saying, and when it's all said and done, there is a potential for Drake May, if he gets the right coaching, to be the best quarterback that's come out of this draft. Don't give me Bo Nix. You give me Bo Nix.
I'm not giving you Bo Nix.
Okay.
I'm not giving. Although I think there's an argument to be made. But anyway, I'm not. We're not.
He's
gonna
like
go
seven.
there.
He's like
That's
7
a
years
different
old.
episode. That's another episode for another day.
Bo Nix is Brandon Whedon.
We don't know that yet. And that's.
You like that poll, Brandon Whedon?
Sorry, but I don't know if he's. We'll see. Well, time will still tell on Mr. Nix. But anyway, for this division, I'm originally from New Jersey, and I asked my family members what they thought about this. My mother, my brother, my sister, and my father all told me, "You go with Aaron Rodgers. You got to go with Aaron." Look, I'm speaking to everyone as a Bear fan. I thought we had this man so many times before. Thought he was done. I thought we were finally going to get over that hump. I thought he was broken down. I thought his attitude was going to destroy the Green Bay Packers from the inside. And I was waiting, and I was waiting, and I was waiting, and it never happened. Guys, I've learned this with tears and a lot of drinking. Do not discount Aaron Rodgers. He's got Garrett Wilson. He's got Brees Hall. They have a pretty decent defense. I'm not as well versed on the Jets as I should be, but I will say, if you have someone like Aaron Rodgers who knows how to break down the game of football the way that he does and as fast as he does, and can do it at the age that he does it at, that's a hell of a thing to have in your backfield as your quarterback. And if you have that cool, calm, collected quarterback, you're very tough to beat because he knows what to do. He's been in those situations before. There's a lot of experience there. He has weapons. He has weapons that he can throw to. I think he's going to make. You want to talk about a steal in fantasy this year is Garrett Wilson, because Garrett Wilson is the wide receiver number 1 on that team. And that's exactly who Aaron Rodgers is going to be throwing the ball to probably 50% of the time. So, no, I think the Bills are going to falter because of the reasons we just said. They've lost some pieces, and I think their window is closing. They had their chances. They didn't take them. Historically, that's how it goes in Buffalo. They'll have their chance in maybe a couple more years when they get some rookies in there and maybe add to their talent, and they get Josh Allen to stick around. But for right now, I got to go as the Jets to win that division, and I like the Dolphins to finish second and make the playoffs. You have Tyreek Hill on that team. You got Jalen Waddle on that team. Those are two of the most dynamic receivers in the NFL today. I don't care how old Hill is. He's still the fastest player in the league. You can't line up a DB against him because he's going to burn him. He's going to burn every DB he plays, and he has already. So when you have that type of firepower, and you think if Achane, he turns into a really good running back, That's a solid pick, man. That's a really solid pick. So I like the Dolphins and I like the Jets out of that division.
Yeah, kind of my take a little bit, except for that he was a little more on the Aaron Rodgers bandwagon. I'm so iffy on him, but he's right. You don't really know. The only time you can count out Aaron Rodgers is in the playoffs.
It's not as nice of a bandwagon as the 49ers. You don't get the free drinks and the free chips, but you do get a free ride from the airport, which is a lot. I mean, that saves you a bunch of money. So, like I said, don't discount Aaron Rodgers.
All right, it's that time. It is our pick segment, and we're going to start off with Thursday Night Football. You guys ready for this? We have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. Now, last year, everybody's like, Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm like, yeah, but I had a feeling about the Lions. The Lions go into KC, take the Chiefs down in game 1. Which tells me, historically, the Chiefs have a slow start. Especially a slow start against running teams. Like the Lions. So, Kansas City Chiefs are a 3-point favorite, standard home line. Okay, so there's nothing wrong there. The Baltimore Ravens are plus 128 on the money line. Chiefs are minus 152. Not a huge discrepancy there. Low scoring game. 46.5 over under. Which means roughly both teams to hit the over would have to score 24 points each. Okay? Sounds like a running game team, running game to me. And who's got the best running game out of the two of them? Ravens. So for my pick of Thursday Night Football, and I'll go first, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens plus 3. Because I'm getting 3 points. So they don't have to actually outright win. They just got to stay within 3 points there. So I will take the Ravens plus 3. Hunter, I know you're a gambling man. Bets of the day, it'll probably be Thursday Night Football. What are you thinking?
Baltimore plus 3 as well, especially in a week 1. I want the points in my back pocket. Going off the Super Bowl hangover type thing, I think that who knows what Casey's going to look like. It's hard to bet against Mahomes, but 3 points, I don't know. I feel like it's a close game at least, and having those 3 points could be useful at the end. So I'll go Baltimore plus 3.
All right, Kurt. Microphone. You're good, man. I'm just letting you know.
All right. Back in the fold. Week 1, here we go, man. AFC Championship rematch. And, yep, we are going right back with the Chiefs, minus 3. Good luck to Bamar. Going back into Arrowhead. Nighttime. Raising the banner. Nah, man.
They did all that bullshit last year, and the Lions came in and just whole new jungle.
But Kadarius Toney dropped 6 passes, and Chris Jones.
They got Worthy out there now.
But no, this will be an awesome game though for sure. I look for a lower scoring defensive game. But I like the Chiefs to cover. So,
Eric, what are your thoughts?
I think it's going to be a 1-point game. I wouldn't even worry about the points. I would just take the favorite. And don't take the favorite.
Yeah, because then you would lose.
Go with the Ravens in this one. But I see this being a really close game, and it probably won't be. It would be 1 or 2 points, and might even come down to the last possession. It's just going to be a very competitive football game.
Yeah, and if it's within 1 point, Baltimore then would cover, which means Baltimore. If you're a betting man, which we are all betting men, will be Baltimore in that case. So yeah, that's cool. I guess. Wow, man. You know what we have? You know what we have today? Kurt is the lone wolf picking KC. Everybody else got Baltimore.
Hey,
on
I
this,
admire
so.
that. That's okay.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You know? All right. Friday night football in Brazil on Peacock. That's why you got the Sunday night football sound going. You got the Eagles taking on the Packers. It's a 2.5-point line. Now, see, here's the iffy thing. Eagles are technically the home team, but the game is in Brazil. So I feel like that this is an overseas standard line. Like, nobody knows kind of thing, because it's not going to be home field advantage, even though the Eagles are the home team. So it's going to be a weird split. So there is no home field advantage here. But I will say that the Eagles are a minus 142. The Packers are a plus 120 on the money line. It is a 48-point over-under, which means we are looking at a possible 25 to 30-point each way game. I don't think if it's going to go that high, almost 50 points, I don't know if I could sit here and say the Packers can they score 50 points? But I feel like the Packers are such a young team. The Eagles have been together longer. They're more seasoned. They're more veteran-like. I think they travel better than the young, because I think the average age of the Packers is 25 years old. So, very young Packers team going to Brazil, not allowed to go anywhere. They're restricted on where they're allowed to travel because the crime rate's so high. I think it's going to be a weird game, and I think the Eagles can cover the 2.5 points. So, I will go week 1, Philadelphia wins by more than 2.5 points. What do you think about that, Hunter? This game?
I don't know what to I don't know what to think about Green Bay just yet. I think that I'll ride with Philly here. A little bit safer pick. I just think they're going to be the better team overall. And for a week 1 in which I don't know either team, I'll go with my safe gut pick, and that's probably going to be Philadelphia.
Kurt, what do you think about this game? You going young Packers, or are you going Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, man.
Again, with the microphone, brother.
That habit.
That's all right, man.
Yeah, kind of like what I mentioned a few weeks ago when we recorded a podcast. I think things change when teams get a year of film on you. And I think Fangio's going to have a game plan to go against Love. That'll be interesting to see how they utilize Josh Jacobs, who they paid a nice penny for. But international games are always weird, man. You never know what to really expect. Friday night game in Brazil. I like the Eagles to cover minus 2.5. I think that offense is just going to be a little bit too much for that Packers defense to handle. So give me Philadelphia covering 2.5.
All right. Eric's going to be the hater here. Watch. He wants the cool sounder.
Hold on. If I pick the Eagles, the Packers are going to win.
No, that's
This
not
is
how
how
that
this
works.
goes. This is how it goes.
No, what could happen
With
is
me,
the
it's
Eagles.
how it goes.
The Eagles could win but not cover. See, that's the good thing about it. But, could be a 1-point game and the Packers cover.
It's a 2.5 game. I don't think it's going to be down to 1 point. I think one team is probably going to win by at least one score. I do think Philly probably does hold the advantage because, as you said, they have more experience. I think they've got a little bit better receivers than the Packers. I think their defense is a little bit better. I think their quarterback is better. Not to say Jordan Love isn't a great quarterback, because for the last half of last year, he was.
Yep.
Even though I still think that's a little you can misread into that, because that was kind of a tale of two halves.
Right.
But to keep it short, I'm going to take Philly. And you can go ahead and feel safe in taking those 2.5 points, because they'll win by more than that.
And I think that's what kind of makes it a lot easier, you guys, too, is it's a 3-point line. So, all they do is got to kick a field goal, worst case scenario, Like you said, rarely would it happen to be a 1 or 2 point win to get that down there. So I feel like you're absolutely correct on that. All right. We just played the sounder, but here we are again. Sunday night football. We have Detroit Lions versus the LA Rams?
Yeah.
What? And it's a standard Lions line at home, 3.5. So they think that this is going to be a decent game as well. Just kind of close. Kind of don't know what to think about either team. The over-under is 51.5. Woo, Nelly. That means it's going to be a high-scoring game. They think some high octane's going on in this. The money line, there is a bit of a discrepancy in the money line. The money line, the Lions are a minus 196. The LA Rams are a plus 164. The Lions came off of one hell of a season. They're division champions. They're probably going to raise a banner. I know it's not the banner that they wanted, but still, home game, opening Sunday Night Football. Give me the Detroit Lions minus 3.5. And with that, Hunter, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I'm taking Detroit minus 3.5. Good season last year. Once again, I don't really like much about the Rams. They're not terrible, but they're not going to be great, I don't think. And I think the Lions, as I said earlier, will be a great team in the NFC. So I will take that minus 3.5 for sure.
All right. K-Mac, what do we got for this game?
Once again, another playoff rematch. Very close game last year, down to the wire in Detroit. And honestly, I think Detroit smokes the Rams. I think they take it to them. I like it probably be close at half, and then they're going to stomp them second half. Give me Detroit minus 3.5.
All righty. Sounds good to me. Eric, back into your division, man. You get to talk about a lot of your teams in your division here.
I think it's going to be very hard to pick against the Lions at home, especially after last season. The fan base is going to be fired up. It's going to be raucous. I really like Detroit in that game, and like K-Mac said, I think it'll be close at halftime. I think you're going to see the Lions win
choking
this
up.
one. Yeah, well,
You got a little Aaron Rodgers choking there going on.
Well, hey, we've been mentioning a lot of chokers tonight, so but no, I'm gonna take the Lions as well.
All right. Yeah. No, that's okay. Across the board. Wow. Well, so far, Kurt, all you have to do is get KC right, and you'll have a better record than all of us. All you have to do is, you could lose every one and just get KC right. So far, man, you'll be on top for the podcast, man. That's a whole different level of respect there, So, yeah. But we'll see what happens here. All right. The New York Jets are at San Francisco. This point spread is a 4.5-point line in favor of the San Francisco 49ers.
That is crazy.
Jesus Christ. A minus 205.
Does
on the money line.
Does Vegas know something that we do not know?
It's the 49ers are becoming like the Cowboys, where they just like to give blowies to the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. But hey, it's either here or there. The New York Jets are a plus 172. It's a 43.5-point line. I just think maybe this could be a situation where they don't really know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be him still. Because if it was Aaron Rodgers, if this game was 2 years ago, that line is probably a 2-point line or a 3-point line. There's no way that's almost a 5-point line. But because he got hurt, and we don't know what they're like with the New York Jets yet, I think that's a little bit of hesitation, a cause for pause, as they say. With that said, you're giving me Aaron Rodgers, and you're going to give me almost 5 points. I'm going to take the New York Jets plus 4.5 on Monday Night Football. What do you guys think about that, huh, Hunter? Yeah, I can't hear you, buddy. Your microphone is out. I don't know if
How the hell did that happen? Okay, got it.
I was staring at your dick earlier, but other than that, that's
something like
I don't know what was going on over there.
Maybe that's when it happened for sure. I'm going the Jets plus 4. I think they have the points in the back pocket with the quarterback like Rodgers coming off the injury. Yeah, he might be a little banged up, but I think he's got something to prove. He wants to show he's still got it. Having points in my back pocket with him, I'll take it.
And I don't think they're crediting the defense enough of the Jets. Like the Niners, yes, they're good. They're very, very good. But so is that Jets defense, man. The Jets defense is not like they're almost on par with the Niners offense. It's like if you go like tit for tat, like the Jets defense is like as good as they can be, as good as like if you took kind of like how the rankings are, as the Niners have a good defense too. But as far as their offense goes, I think the Jets defense is capable of keeping up with the Niners. But K-Mac, do you agree with that? Are we on the same page, or are you going pretty stupid?
Yeah, I do like how the Jets defense matches up here. Robert Saleh, former D coordinator with the 49ers, so there's some familiarity there. Can't never say that word. But this has been too heavy of a line for my liking. And week one, there's always some upsets, so not every game is going to go as it should. And yeah, plus 4.5 for the Jets for sure. I like it.
Folks, of course, it is a high line like we talked about. So I will say to the people that watch that line, if it goes down into normal home field advantage, then that's when you start picking the Niners. But 4.5 is just a bit too high, just a bit, not by a lot, but like you're giving me almost like the Niners have to win by 5. That's still kind of iffy on game one. So that's just kind of where I'm going. If it goes down, you might want to pull off for the Niners. We'll kind of see how that happens. If that line comes down, that means a lot of the public money went there for the Jets. If it stays the same up until Friday, and then all of a sudden Friday and Saturday, you see that line goes down, all of the smart money was putting their money on the Jets, and that's kind of just shows that your beginning of the week bets is what we thought. Eric, what do you think about this game?
I believe that Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are a legitimate team, and this is going to be a legitimate win for the 49ers. And game one will be a very legitimate win as the 49ers get set to just kind of go ahead and roll into the playoffs.
But what do you mean by legitimate win? Yeah, Niners can win, but are they going to win by more than 5? Or is it going to be a field goal win? You got to think.
Wow.
National stage, return of Aaron Rodgers, good Jets defense. It's got to be by the 5. I mean,
4.5 is a lot.
And that's the thing. I'm not picking the Jets to win. By any means am I saying the Jets are going to come in and win.
I think the 49ers win. They probably win by 7.
Okay, all right. That's fine. You got your opinion. Yeah,
I just think we don't know enough. We know what we have in the 49ers. We don't know for sure what we have in the New York Jets.
Well, yeah, we do.
We don't because
defense.
We have no idea what their offense looks like in a regular season game because Aaron Rodgers got hurt last year. You're starting up. I have questions about Robert Saleh as a head coach. I mean, he's been a little underwhelming up until now, and that's just some of the reasons I've got to say I'm got to go with the 49ers. Got to go with the proven commodity.
Yeah, I see. I guess I'm just going with more or less that the Jets defense can hold that Niners team down. Like, I don't think the Niners team is going to blow the Jets D out of the water. You're absolutely right as far as what Aaron Rodgers could look like with that offense and stuff like that. I really just don't see. You got to think last year the Jets with a bad quarterback and always having to be on the field. A bad quarterback always having to be on the field only allowed 20.9 points a game last year. It's really good. And that's
It is.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's with having a bum ass quarterback always giving the ball away. So that Jets defense hasn't changed. If anything, it's gotten better. They added if Hassan Reddick decides to start playing, that's I don't know why they traded for him knowing that he wanted a new contract. Like, I'm not going to blame Hassan Reddick because he had made it very known that he wanted a new contract. And they traded for him anyways, thinking that you're going to play anyway. And he's like, no, I'll see. I'm going to be in Ibiza, that's not how it's not how that goes, man. All right. So what we're going to move on to now is no more music. Sorry, guys. That's the primetime games. Those are the primetime slots for you guys. But now we're going to move on to our local teams. And we had already talked about the Lions, so we don't need to talk about that. But we got Dallas going into Cleveland. Right? 2.5 point line. Cleveland is still favored. Dallas is a plus 120 on the money line. Cleveland is a minus 142. And the over-under, this is going to be a big defensive battle. I don't know why. Maybe because Dallas is going to Cleveland. The over-under is 41.5 in this game. Yeah, it's very low. It's very low. I think that means like they don't know what to think of the Dallas Cowboys offense. They don't know what to think of the Cleveland Browns offense. Honestly, I have no freaking clue, but my gut is saying Cowboys. I think I'm gonna go with Dallas with the plus 2.5 points on this game.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think Dallas, it's a good team. The Browns are a good team. Don't get me wrong; they are a good team. Dallas is a little bit better offense.
Yeah, I just again, like you said, it's one of those things where you just really don't know.
It is a tough game. It is a tough game to call.
Yeah, because they're good. They're totally different. I mean, they got new defensive players coming in for Dallas. You don't know what that offense is going to look like with no running back. And the same thing with the Browns. You don't know what they're going to look like with the new receivers. Deshaun Watson having a whole offseason under his belt. What's he going to look like? But let's go to the man that knows the NFC North and the way the Browns play at home. Kurt, what do you think about this game?
Correction, AFC North. But
Oh, I said NFC. That's my bad. Yeah, I'm stupid. No, I'm dumb. It's fine. No, I'm stupid.
Cleveland's going to smoke Dallas. Dallas's line against Cleveland's D-line, their defense, Dak's going to get cracked. Zeke in that running game will be non-existent. Myles Garrett's probably going to have a big day. Denzel Ward might even get a pick. It's a bad matchup for Dallas. So Cleveland easily -2.5.
Yeah, and I think the line is worrying me too because it is a low line for a home team. You know, you should be 3 to 4, but depending.
Love, like you mentioned.
I know, but my working with my wallet here.
All Cleveland has to do is shut down CD Lamb.
True.
That's it.
Hunter, what do you think about this game? They're your favorite team.
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns -2.5. I think Kurt hit the nail on the head with Dallas's lack of offensive line, and their only prayer is Dak and CD to hook up like 4 times for touchdowns and keep them in the game. But outside of that, I think that the offensive line is going to get torched by Cleveland's defense, which is improving. It's never really been bad, but it's been improving, and I think it's actually going to be really good this season. And as long as Deshaun Watson doesn't kill them, I think that the Browns should win this game.
All right. Well, let's move on to the team south to us. The Bengals are taking on the New England Patriots.
Bengals.
Okay. And it is a 7.5-point line. Give me the Bengals at 7.5.
Yeah.
Kurt, what do you think about this? This is your other happy team from your AFC North.
Yeah, I think this line's a bit too heavy, to be honest with you, with the uncertainty right now of Jamar Chase not playing this weekend because of contract. He didn't even practice today, and that's a big question mark. Joe Burrow, we got to see him back in action for a little bit. And there's always upsets, man. Every season, I feel like week 1, there's always a couple of games where like, who would have thought that? But I'm not picking the Bengals to lose. I just think 7.5 is a bit too heavy, so I'll take the Patriots with the 7.5.
All right. Eric?
Blowout.
Blowout.
I think the Bengals probably win by 14, maybe 17. Dude, you got Joe Burrow back. You still got T. Higgins, and I like I said, I just think, yeah, I'm just gonna go with the Bengals.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I took the Bengals too, so I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Because I mean, we don't know what the Patriots look like until we don't know what the Patriots, actually look like. So that's kind of tough, right? And that's we'll see. Just gotta watch the line, during the week and see which way it flows and which way it goes. Kind of like how we watch our hosts.
Yeah,
that's how it is. Kurt, Steelers, man, are they gonna come out with a W this weekend? No. Tell me about the line, man. What do you think?
I am going to take the Steelers with a 3.5, but I think we'll lose a close game. So as long as we keep it within 3.5, full cover. But yeah, this is going to be real messy the first 6 weeks. So yeah, 3.5. I think we'll cover.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess in my opinion, not that you're asking for it, better quarterback, right? Well, see, I don't know. I don't want to say better quarterback because I don't know what Russell Wilson looks like. If it's the Russell Wilson of last year, better quarterback in Atlanta. If it's running back, edge I got to give to Atlanta Falcons. Wide receivers, that's kind of almost the same. So we'll see. I'm going to stay away from that game, to be honest with you. But hey, I got you written down. Now, Eric, your Bears are going against the Tennessee Titans, and it is a 4.5-point line. That is a very heavy home line.
That is a heavy home line.
So what do you think? Bears -4? Can they cover almost 5 points against the Tennessee Titans?
Knowing the Bears, probably not. Listen, and this is a Bear fan telling you this. If you're going to bet money on this game, you have a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams who made a couple nice plays during preseason. You've upgraded your offense. You got 3 really dynamic receivers in Moore and Allen and now Odunze. You've got one of the top tight ends in the league in Cole Kmet. You have your defense is returning from last year, although there are some questions on the defensive line for the Bears, I think, that are going to need to be answered. So I am going to pick the Bears to win. I would not take the points, though. I would take the Bears outright because I still do think a lot of Will Levis, and it's really going to depend on if Hopkins plays. If Hopkins plays, I think Tennessee has a chance. If he doesn't, I think the Bears roll, but just be careful with that point spread in the Chicago Bears. Take the Bears, just play them to win outright. Bet on something else. Bet on DJ Moore catching the first touchdown. So
you would say
pass.
Tennessee money, or you would say Tennessee point spread, Chicago Bear money line.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll put you down for Tennessee +4.5. We do the point spread system more or less here. So, I mean, the money line is cool. The money line is cool when you're picking like parlay favorites to me. Because that's kind of who's expected to win. But in the NFL, it's actually really hard to bet money line because it really is in the NFL any given Sunday. So that's why it's almost more lucrative to bet point spread as opposed to, because let me tell you, the odds are actually in the favor of the Tennessee Titans point spread wise at a -115. If you bet the point spread, the odds of you winning are +115 as opposed to betting the Bears on the point spread at -105. So, when it comes to the point spread, Tennessee is the favorite. Obviously, with the winning outright game, Bears are all favored pretty nicely. So the over-under for that is 45.5.
That sounds right.
But yeah, that's a lot of bets for you guys to look at. I mean, hopefully everybody goes and puts some stuff down for this weekend. We did a lot of teams, so we're going to stay away from the random picks today. We're going to get back to those next week. With our usual, you'll have our our college football picks along with our actual NFL picks. We're going to get back to business as usual. It's going to be kind of fun. It's going to be a fun season. We got a 4-person panel, so we got extra banter going on. As you can see, we will fight over the 49ers and the Eagles all season long, stuff like that. But if you enjoyed this episode of the Shekle Up Podcast, please go like, subscribe, and go to like and follow all of our social media. That's on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Anything helps. Head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. I believe you can even leave a review now on Spotify. So we are on all podcast platforms. If you want to check us out, go ahead and rate us. For your cares, questions, or concerns, you can email us at shekleupodcast@gmail.com. Go find Kurt and Hunter on everything at Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast. Go over to Twitter and follow myself at AnnieUpAnthony. You can go follow Hunter at Hunter_Keister4 and follow KMac at K_Mac7. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And remember, do not bet your mortgage.